This is The Space Shot, episode 286 for February 24th, 2018. STS-133, the final flight of Discovery. I'm John Molnix. First up for today, I've got a launch update. SpaceX is standing down for this weekend's launch attempt of the Falcon 9 from Cape Canaveral. According to a SpaceX tweet, they are conducting additional testing on the fairings pressurization system, and once that is complete, they will announce a new launch date. The next upcoming launch is the GOES-S satellite that will be launching on a United Launch Alliance Atlas V from Cape Canaveral. Now, let's dive into some history.
Space, the final frontier.
These have been the voyages of the Space Shuttle Discovery. Her 30-year mission, to seek out new science, to build new outposts, to bring nations together on the final frontier, to boldly go and do what no spacecraft has done before.
On February 24th, 2011, the Space Shuttle Discovery lifted off one last time. Its mission? Deliver the permanent multi-purpose module Leonardo to the International Space Station. The shuttle also carried various pieces of cargo and supplies, as well as spare parts, and Robonaut 2. Robonaut 2 is actually slated to return to Earth. It hasn't been functioning for the past few years, so it'll be interesting to see what the results of that program are. The Leonardo module started off its life as the multi-purpose logistics module, Leonardo, and it had been to the station a number of times throughout its life. With the retirement of the shuttle fleet, it was decided that one of these modules would be converted into a permanent multi-purpose module and left at the station by a space shuttle. Discovery's final flight was a capstone on an incredible service life. Discovery flew more times than any other space shuttle on missions that ranged from deploying the Hubble Space Telescope to rendezvousing with the Mir space station for the first time, to being piloted and later commanded by the first female shuttle commander. The first link in the show notes is to a NASA article about Discovery and her history, so be sure to check it out. The astronauts that flew on Discovery for the last time were Commander Stephen Lindsay, pilot Eric Bowe, and mission specialists Nicole Stott, Alvin Drew, Michael Barrett, and Stephen Bowen. On a side note, Commander Stephen Lindsay had flown into space with John Glenn on STS-95. We've recently talked about Glenn's space flights back in episode 282 and 168, so check those out if you're new to the podcast or would like a refresher. Astronauts performed 2 extravehicular activities while docked with the International Space Station. The preparation for these EVAs included the camping out procedure in the airlock, something I talked about back in episode 270. Sleeping in a reduced pressure environment with less nitrogen helps astronauts avoid decompression sickness. On flight day 14, it was time for the crew to come back to Earth. I can only imagine how bittersweet this flight was for the crew. Knowing that you're taking a spacecraft out for one final mission has got to be an emotional experience. I'd really appreciate it if you could venture into the Apple Podcasts app or your podcast app of choice and leave a review for The Space Shot. To those of you that have already left reviews, I appreciate it. For everyone else, reviews are critical because a steady stream of them ensures that The Space Shot is more visible in the Apple Podcasts app. As always, the show notes have more information on today's episode. You can hit me up on Instagram and Twitter. Find me at John Molnix. I'm always up to chat. You can also connect with me on Facebook. Just search The Space Shot or click one of the links in the show notes and you'll find me. I'm John Molnix, and I'll catch you on the flip side.